Who is the best person to be America's next president? Let's converse upon it.
Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage.
Happy New Year, and welcome to Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage. I'm Mario Pacheco, and this is my swivel chair. This is my first episode of 2012, and the first non-holiday themed one, although it is election season, and it has been for the past 2 years. I take elections very seriously. I always vote in every election because I believe very strongly it is our civic duty as citizens of this great nation. Our collective votes determine whether our great nation will once more be restored to its former glory and honor, or send it plunging into a secular atheist communist nightmare. With that in mind, I would like to go through all the candidates for president that we've seen so far this election season and give my opinion as to who would be the right leader to restore America to its former glory and honor. Full disclosure, I am a devout Roman Catholic. I am a registered Republican. I am staunchly pro-life. I lean towards the Tea Party, but I don't really consider myself one of them. All these factors will contribute into my choices. A lot of people criticizing making one's decision merely on the issue of abortion. They call them single-issue voters. However, of all the issues, no other issue directly affects the lives of approximately 1.2 million unborn children each year. 1.2 million. That's a lot. I'm not going to pretend that everyone's going to agree with me. Most of you will disagree for one reason or another. But one of the things that makes this country great is that you're entitled to your own opinion, and that is respected. As Stephen Colbert once said, you have the right to be wrong. Begin with our current president, Barack Hussein Obama. And that's only because he's proven himself, in my opinion, to me, to be the most pro-abortion president in American history. The passage of Obamacare, which includes the largest expansion of abortion since Roe v. Wade. Reminder, executive orders or signing statements cannot change written law. Just because of that, not the Cylinder scandal, or the bailouts, or the debt ceiling, or the jobs bill, or the Bush tax cuts, or cutting military funding, or the Keystone XL pipeline, or the secret lavish Halloween party with Johnny Depp in it, I feel he is no longer worthy of being our president. I call him Barack Hussein Obama just to remind everyone what his middle name is. I told him that to a friend of mine who admitted that he had forgotten that was Obama's middle name. I told him he should watch Fox News more. He just reads the Wall Street Journal. Moving on. When the Republican primary season began, I was all behind former vice presidential candidate and Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. I in fact voted for McCain Palin in 2008. I was hoping for the first woman Republican president. Yay! However, it soon sadly occurred to me that Sarah Palin didn't seem that serious about running for president. I mean, she resigned as governor of Alaska and then starred in her own reality show. She then eventually officially declared her non-candidacy. So that was the end of that. Next person I was behind was former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. I voted for him in the 2008 Super Tuesday primary. I liked him because he's pretty conservative, he's a devout Christian, he's been on Colbert Report a few times, and he's also a musician. Little Rockers Rock. He has that show on Fox News now, and I sometimes watch it. Eventually he announced that after much prayer and reflection, he would not be pursuing candidacy for president. And that saddened me as well. But I can't fault or disbelieve a man who says that God doesn't want him to run for president. A good Christian must always accept God's will, and so I did. Now for the leading frontrunner, former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. Meh. Romney has flip-flopped on too many of Republicans' core principles. As governor of Massachusetts, he established a statewide health care system that was the model for Obamacare. There's no getting out of that one. And whatever he was doing at Bain Capital rubs me the wrong way, since as seen in my previous videos, I'm not a fan of the big shops, as Chesterton put it. Also, he is a Mormon. Never really liked Mormons. What kind of church advertises itself like the Mormons have over the years? Now, I've studied theology, and theologically speaking, Mormons technically aren't Christians, because they don't accept the Nicene Creed. As Stephen Colbert once said, they're Christian-ish. John Huntsman. Who was he again? My point exactly. He was Mormon too. He dropped out of the race anyway. On paper, Michelle Bachmann is an ideal candidate. She's an experienced conservative politician, beloved by the Tea Party, and pro-life enough to have 23 foster children. But this is the weird problem I have with her. Usually people who are elected president are already president, vice president, a member of the cabinet, a senator, a governor, or a general. Michelle Bachmann is a member of the House of Representatives. In the entire history of the United States, only one president, James A. Garfield, was elected immediately after serving as a member of the House of Representatives. She dropped out of the race not too long ago. If she were to run for senator or governor of Minnesota, and did that for a while, and then ran for president the next time around, then that would be completely different. Texas Governor Rick Perry I considered an ideal candidate before he officially became one. He was a conservative governor of a conservative state and a deeply devout Christian. It was a lot like Mike Huckabee. However, I was afraid that he would be like Law and Order star Fred Thompson from the last election, ahead in the polls before actually running and petering out once he declared his candidacy. Well, when Rick Perry officially declared his candidacy, he stayed ahead of the polls, which made me happy. But then three things happened. First, it came out that he had provided in-state tuition for children of illegal immigrants and said those who disagreed with that didn't have hearts. Secondly, it came out that he mandated that girls as young as 10 be vaccinated for the sexually transmitted HPV virus. Third, I forgot the third one. Oops. Oh, right! He forgot that he was saying what he was saying during that debate. Yeah, that's it. A couple of days ago, Rick Perry dropped out of the race. So that's the end of that. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was never officially a candidate, but I will mention him briefly as I am a citizen of the great state of New Jersey. Yes, I am coming to you from New Jersey. I helped elect Chris Christie in 2010, and I have no doubt he would make an excellent president. But not yet. He needs to stay governor of New Jersey for as long as possible, and I am glad he's agreed to do that. I will be all for him for president, God forbid, in 2016, but hopefully in 2020. I never really took Herman Cain seriously as a candidate. He was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza and head of the National Restaurant Association and has very little political experience. He apparently does have this radio show where he talks about politics. Go figure. Anyway, I was quite surprised when Herman Cain rose to the top of the polls. I very reluctantly accepted that he could be a viable candidate. Then the allegations of sexual harassment and an affair came out against him. Now, in the spirit of a fraternity, which I hold dear, as a member of the Knights of Columbus, I did not believe these allegations, and trusted Herman Cain when he assured us they were false. Herman Cain then dropped out of the race for the sake of his own honor and for that of his family. I believe that was the right thing to do. A lot of my peers like Congressman Ron Paul. I admit that I respect him because he marches to the beat of his own drum. I agree with anyone who says he's probably the only honest man in the race. But my main problem with him is the same as Michelle Bachmann. He may have been a member of the House of Representatives for almost 15 years, but he's still just a member of the House of Representatives. And given how out of line with some of the Republicans' principles he is, he'd probably have difficulty getting elected governor or senator of anyone. So, unfortunately, I vote no. I heard back in 2008 that former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, was considering running for president. I was excited because I thought he'd probably make a great president. But then nothing came of that. So I was glad to hear that he was running this year. I still believe he would make a great president. Back in the 90s, he led the Republican takeover of the House with the contract with America. Maybe he can do something like that again. He's also a convert to Catholicism, and he's been going around promoting a documentary about Blessed Pope John Paul the Great. Now, I know Newt's campaign has gone down and up and all around, and he has some baggage. His second ex-wife came out recently with some allegations which I also fraternally do not believe. In spite of that, yesterday, Newt Gingrich won the South Carolina primary, completely upending the Republican race. It warms my heart to see that South Carolina has such a strong spirit of fraternity. Newt Gingrich, though, is my second choice. Probably most likely candidate of my two choices, but I still consider him the second best candidate. Now comes my choice for the best person to be President of the United States. Former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum. Santorum is a stalwart conservative, a devout Roman Catholic, and as pro-life as they come. There have been few ill things to say about Rick Santorum. He may have voted for big government things while in the Senate, but very few people didn't. That is the culture in Washington. I believe it is honorable to come from that culture and now seek to work against it. Honestly, I thought Santorum's biggest problem was that due to his opposition to homosexualism, radical homosexualist Dan Savage made Santorum's name into a homosexual slang term that is far too vile to repeat. He then posted it to Urban Dictionary and Google bombed it, so it was the first thing that came up when you searched Santorum. Luckily, no one seems to care about that. So anyway, Rick Santorum is my ideal candidate for President of the United States. I will be proudly casting my vote for him if he hopefully makes it to the general election. But in case either of my top choices doesn't work out, I may be forced to vote for an independent candidate. And there are two I would strongly consider. First off, Donald Trump. Now, I didn't take Donald Trump's candidacy too seriously either. He may be a billionaire with his own reality show, but also has very little political experience. I wasn't even aware he was a conservative. But as he started to rise in the polls and successfully got President Obama to release his mythical birth certificate, I started thinking that he might make a good president. Then, however, he dropped out of the race. But recently, he admitted he would run as an independent if the Republicans chose who he thought was the wrong candidate. Now, depending who that Romney wrong candidate is, and if Donald Trump does indeed decide to run, then I would consider voting for Donald Trump. But here's my favorite potential independent candidate, Stephen Colbert. I loved it when Stephen Colbert ran for president in South Carolina in 2008. I was hoping he would be running again this time. But as the head of the Colbert Super PAC, he is legally prohibited from running for office. However, back on January 11th, it was revealed that according to the public policy polling poll of South Carolina voters, Stephen Colbert was polling at 5%, ahead of actual candidate John Huntsman at 4%. The next day, Stephen Colbert handed his super PAC to Jon Stewart and then announced he would be forming an exploratory committee to look into the possibility of running for president. Then on January 18th, in a three-way race between Romney, Obama, and Colbert, public policy polling has Stephen Colbert polling at 13%. In that situation, I'm definitely voting for Stephen Colbert. It would be the best way to register my dissatisfaction with both candidates. This man just makes my heart laugh. So if all else fails, I'm voting Colbert 012. Now time for an epilogue. Hope you all enjoyed this year's first episode of Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage. If you've seen my first episode, you recall that I vowed to open my show with the phrase, "Let's talk about that," until internet-tainers Rhett and Link brought back their morning talk show, Good Morning Sheila Lincoln. Well, just this month they indeed brought it back as Good Mythical Morning. Here's a link below to Rhett and Link's new show. So as a Catholic gentleman, I will honor my vow and replace the phrase with the synonymous and Shakespearean-esque, "Let us converse upon it." I'm going to have some more time now, so I'm going to make an effort to upload 2 videos a month. Let's hope that works out. This concludes Mario Pacheco's Swivel Chair of Rage. Thank you for watching. God bless you all, and God bless America.